Growing pepper plants indoors over the wintertime is a wonderful treat, and it's a great way to keep that summertime feeling throughout the winter, which tends to be pretty long here in Canada. And as you can see, I have several different kinds of peppers growing here in my living room. All you need is a sunny window and a willingness to be able to do the pollination of the flowers yourself. Here we can see what would be just a regular bell pepper, but this is a special one. I'm trying to peel away some of the petals from the blossom, but they're still very well attached to the pepper, and I don't want to damage it or even potentially break it off of the branch. So unfortunately, we can't really get a good look at it yet, but it's only beginning to grow. And I'm very pleased to see this because this was the only blossoming bell pepper so far. It's still early in the season, the indoor growing season over the winter, that is, for the bell peppers. The other hot peppers that I have going are very well ahead, and they've been growing pretty much continuously since I took them out of the garden. Here we can see an emerging yellow lemon drop hot pepper. And as you can see, it also has the little bit of the petals from its blossom stuck to the pepper. But it's much, much smaller. Here's one that's a little further along. And as you can see, it's still carrying the shroud from the petals of the blossom as it grows. These are really wonderful peppers. And here you can see one of the blossoms. And now I'm harvesting some of the pollen on my fingertip. See how beautiful the grains are and how beautiful the blossom is. Now I'm taking it over and I'm going to pollinate flowers from a different kind of pepper. These are very tiny little semi-sweet, semi-hot peppers. And as you can see, I deposited the pollen onto the flower. It's as simple as that. And there you can see on the same branch, there are a couple of peppers that are already growing. And these are not cross-pollinated. This is the typical correct shape for this particular kind of pepper. But I just pollinated that flower that you can see has the little bits of pollen grain on it if you look closely, with the pollen from the lemon drop. And so the pepper that emerges is going to have that yellow. And as you can see, if you look really closely, there's yellow on this one. These are supposed to be turning red. So this is a cross. And that's exactly what I did also with the bell pepper that we see emerging. And so far, it just looks like a regular bell pepper, but we've got a little ways to go yet before we see what happens to it as it develops. But since it was the only flower on that bell pepper plant, I had nothing else to pollinate it with. And so here we can see a much further developed lemon drop that still has a little bit of shroud from its blossom hanging off of its tip. This is what that bell pepper was crossed with. Here we can see an extraordinarily, extremely, dangerously hot little red pepper, much larger than the other tiny ones that we were shown before, but these are too hot. I'm not crossing them with anything. Those are just for drying and grinding into extremely hot pepper powder. Here we can see a couple of jalapeno peppers in their typical sort of pudgy, short kind of shape. I've been crossing them with lemon drops as well. I love crossing everything with lemon drops because they just have such an amazing flavor and aroma. And so here we can see a jalapeno that's been crossed with a lemon drop. And as you can see, it's getting a longer, narrower shape than your typical jalapeno. And maybe even already getting a little bit of a yellow color to it if you look closely. So it's a lot of fun to be able to cross-pollinate various kinds of peppers, and it's as easy as what you saw me doing earlier. By the way, here's the opposite. Here's a lemon drop that received some pollen from a jalapeno. And so you can see it's getting a very different kind of shape to it. So I haven't done this yet. So this is the first one, and I'm really looking forward to see what it's going to ripen into. And this is another lemon drop that's the typical shape. What a beautiful, beautiful pepper. In fact, it's so beautiful that I think I'm going to harvest it and have it for lunch. It's wonderful to grow peppers indoors. It's super easy and super enjoyable. I highly recommend it. And have fun doing your own cross-pollination, keeping you busy over the winter.